Let's see. The other coaches, there were 6 other coaches that were hired in that cycle. You have Robert Saleh with the Jets, who was still there.
He interviewed here.
Yes. Obviously, Dan Campbell. Nick Sirianni with the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And then the other coaches are not currently employed. Brandon Staley with the Chargers. Arthur Smith with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. And then Urban Meyer with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was the 7 coaches hired in the cycle, obviously including Dan Campbell.
Now, obviously, based on success, Sirianni is number 1 because they went to the Super Bowl. But
okay, they went to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yes.
So one step further.
Correct.
But he was also basically he kind of did things in reverse.
Yeah.
He got out of the gates great. And then, obviously, last year, they lose their last 6?
This past season, yeah. Well, they went his first year playoffs, and then second year Super Bowl, and then third year
out in the first round.
Out in the first round.
And obviously, Dan Campbell, no playoffs, 3-13-1, 9-8, no playoffs,
right.
And then NFC Championship game.
Correct.
And it feels like, and they will have both coordinators back. Now, I know that Sirianni lost both coordinators last year, which was a challenge for them, but. Yeah. I think you could make an argument that the Lions have probably made the better hire.
Oh, yes. No doubt. But I'm just saying based on success as of now, if your goal is to go to the Super Bowl,
because there was a lot of people that felt like Nick Sirianni was going to be removed after last year.
Correct.
And there were some, even if makes it through this year, a lot of people think that might be where Bill Belichick ends up in 2025. Mm-hmm. So it's just looking at the hires, because we all said at the time, right, okay, you're going to hire Dan Campbell. You hired him before Brad Holmes, before a general manager, had never been a head coach other than the interim time that he'd had down in Miami. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it was like, hey, the Lions are taking a huge risk.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's
paid off. It's been
clearly
great.
Paid off.
Now, do I think Campbell's going to end up more successful than Sirianni or any others down the road? Absolutely. No doubt about it in my mind. 248-539-9797. Speaking of Dan Campbell, he's going to be doing something on Sunday that I can't believe some of you will not be. Explain that coming up next. 97 won the ticket.
Brought to you by Northville Lumber. Jaden Ivey stepping up as the Pistons began their road trip in Sacramento shorthanded, but a 37-point night for the second-year guard with no Cade, no bogey, and open roster spots from trades earlier. A 133-120 upset for a Detroit W, and Ivey seemed to very much enjoy his career-high evening. Yeah, Duran had a 20-15 night, Burks 25 off the bench, Sasser with 18, and that was just the third road victory for Detroit of the entire season. As for the trades, Monte Morris ended up only playing 6 games for his hometown team. The Pistons sent him to Minnesota to bring Shake Milton, Troy Brown Jr., and a future second-rounder, as Kevin Knox was also sent packing to bring back stretch forward Simone Fontecchio from the Jazz. Juwan Howard called it a birthday gift as his Michigan basketball team took out favored Wisconsin 72-68 at Chrysler Center. No second-half collapse this time as they survived a final push by the Badgers late in the game. The Wolverines are now tied at the bottom of the conference with the Buckeyes at 3-9. As for MSU football, 20 players are officially there after traditional signing day. They did lose one 3-star linebacker Jaden Walker, flipped to USC after verbally committing to state. Their class is listed as number 46 in the country according to 24/7 Sports. From the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Thank you, Chris. By the way, there are rumors that Wink Martindale is going to be in Ann Arbor today to interview for the defensive coordinator job. And I just saw something, John, that Harbaugh did offer a job to Klingscale, who turned it down.
Oh, okay.
According to 24/7. So every coach is not going with Jim Harbaugh to Los Angeles.
No.
Indeed. Now, we were talking earlier about Nick Saban, right? About how he is going to ESPN. And I posed the question, and I got away from it a little bit because I wanted to talk about the Dan Campbell coaching cycle. What other coaches would be really good at that? And what maybe some would be awful? Like Rex Ryan is pretty good.
He's entertaining.
Yeah.
I think he's done a fairly okay job. A couple of guys that did not get jobs this year or were released. Pete Carroll, I think he would be entertaining.
Yes.
He's a high energy guy as long as he can stop chewing his gum.
he can do both college and pro because he has.
Yeah, he's got experience in both. And any of these guys I think could do either level.
Right.
I think Mike Vrabel would be entertaining. If you could put Mike Vrabel and Dan Campbell on one of those pregame panels, or studio, and have them go back and forth. You get an offensive guy, you get a defensive guy, you have two guys that are simply talking. I think you'd have a couple of things happen. You'd have some great debates. You'd have some great back and forth. You'd also probably have a whole lot of F-bombs and S-bombs.
Do you think Vrabel has enough energy to be on television?
I think he's got enough disdain for whoever he's talking to that, yes, there would be because I did a draft with him 1 year on ESPN with Andrea Kramer, and he was good. He was entertaining.
Michigan versus Ohio State guys.
Oh, yes, they tried to build that up pretty big. But always beat him.
Did you play against him?
Yeah, I played against him.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
the years he played,
Finkus
I don't know them all.
Finkus and Vrabel would have been the two defensive ends in the 95 game. 95 and 96, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, we ended up, I don't know, Tumunga had some day in there. It was like 300 plus yards, something like that. I don't know. Some redshirt freshman kicked his ass. And then did it again down there. But anybody can do it in their home court, right? Home field.
Yeah.
We're going to do this at some point.
You do it in Columbus. And it's a little bit, it means a little bit more, right? And, you get a guy like Sean Springs, who's a future teammate of mine, I slipped and fell.
He did.
Yeah, well, Ty didn't. The same turf.
I know. Well, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you have bad dew too.
Yeah.
I mean,
bad dew. Yes. No, I mean your dew today looks really nice.
Not as nice as yours, Mister. I'm going for lunch somewhere.
Yeah.
So someday down the road, when we really need some content, I want your top 5, and maybe if you can go 10. I don't know if you can go 10, but definitely top 5. Just you going off about playing against somebody. There's something here. I see a different side.
Like putting the gap in Strahan's teeth?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you play against?
Kids actually asked that the other day. They're like, "Yeah, which guy was it said he hated you?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the guy who put the gap in his teeth." He's like, and obviously the two older ones are like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, Dad."
Yeah.
And Jack still, I think he's kind of like, Dad's telling me a story.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of getting there right now, but there's also this little mystery of, I wonder if he did knock out a tooth.
Speaking of now,
the mystery still lives.
Wasn't Big Daddy Wilkinson a teammate of yours in Washington?
Yeah, Big Daddy. Big Daddy's a great guy.
Okay, did you play against him or is he
No,
older?
he would have been, I would have been, let's see, a freshman in 94.
Okay.
And I think that was his last year in Columbus. Okay. Yeah. That was a 28-3 win.
Oh, wow.
I believe, over the trademark, Ohio State.
I think Big Daddy was on that team when they tied each other. And Michigan had the 3-tie season. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
9-0-3.
Moeller was the coach of that team, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's when I started hating ties. That's why I have such hatred towards
ties, especially when you look in college football, you look and you see a tie on somebody's, schedule. You're like, thank goodness that doesn't have to happen anymore.
I'd rather have a tie than have the 2-point conversion overtime. I'll tell you that.
There's better ways to do it, but at least you don't have to worry about a tie.
I thought Greg. I don't know about that.
I'd rather not have a tie. I don't want any ties.
I get it.
Well, if anybody should hate ties, it's you. You tied for a championship.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
0-1.
in championship games in college and professional sports. My record 0-0-1.
Yes.
We mentioned Dan Campbell, and he's also talked about in today's column in the Free Press by Sean Windsor. And the headline is, if Dan Campbell can watch the Super Bowl, so can you, Detroit Lion fans. Here's why. And he gives a whole litany of reasons, does Sean, about why you should watch the Super Bowl, because he's obviously heard the buzz on this radio station and in other environs of Lion fans being so butthurt they can't watch the Super Bowl. And Dan Campbell explained in the Alex Anzalone Players Tribune piece that he penned the other day that you should watch the Super Bowl because it'll make you maybe mad, fire up for next year, and you should hurt. And that's part of getting to the next level is feeling the pain. How many times do Detroit sports fans sit there and say, we had to get through the Celtics before they got to the Lakers when talking about the Pistons and the Red Wings? We wouldn't have won if we didn't have to go through, we went through this team and that team and we had to suffer and the hurt and all that stuff. So if you're a man about that, be a man about your football team. You had to suffer through San Francisco. You blew the game. We all know that for whatever reason you want to come up with. You're playing the Super Bowl is Sunday, and you're not going to watch because you blew the game? Yeah, we all hurt. Yeah, well, I'll always think about Josh Reynolds dropping that pass probably to the day I die. But I'm still going to watch the Super Bowl because the two don't have anything to do with each other, in my opinion.
Right.
I'll watch the NBA championship every year. I'll watch the Stanley Cup, the World Series. I'm watching that stuff.
You want to see how the story ends?
Yes.
That's the story of the season.
The people are sitting there going, and we talked about it earlier, 248-539-9797. I brought up a random Thursday night game on Amazon between Pittsburgh and New England, and people actually said, yeah, I'd rather watch that than watch the Super Bowl. Really? You consider yourself a football fan? You'd rather watch that dreck as opposed to the Super Bowl? Because, you're butthurt because of the Lions? Or, Patrick Mahomes gets too much attention? Or Brock Purdy isn't that good? Come on, really?
Hey, if somebody doesn't want to watch it, then so be it.
I know.
Some people refer to this as boycotting. We had a caller earlier when we talked to us called it girl-cotting. I thought that was... It was clever.
Look,
sure, it's very witty, very clever, whatever.
Can't you be both? Can't you be butthurt and suffer pain and still watch the Super Bowl? Look, I get if you're not watching every pregame moment or the week-long festivities like you used to. I can understand that to a certain extent. And even though I'm going off on this diatribe here, there's no right or wrong. It's just my strong opinion.
I can't understand why somebody wouldn't. But that's just me. I can't understand that.
Right. Exactly.
But and somebody else may look at it and say, well, why would I want to watch the Niners, who we should have beat, play against a team that we did beat? And I'm not going to sit there and argue with them because that argument to me is ridiculous. I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to watch, as we talk about the season, and whether it's the NBA season, the hockey season, the baseball season, we're obviously talking about the football season. That's the story of that year. This is how it ends, all right? And there's only one team. I kind of walked myself right into this one. There's only one team that's going to have a happy ending.
Yeah. That's right. So now...
That's why the Patriots won so
That's
many.
why it's in Vegas.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Stay in Vegas.
Now, maybe if you want to have the happy ending instead of watching the Super Bowl, okay, fine. Do it at halftime. How can you not watch the Super Bowl? 248-539-9797. Unless there's some sort of I don't know. How can a sports fan, how can a football fan not watch the Super Bowl? You don't have to like it. But I mean, I don't know. I'm perplexed. I'm flummoxed. Think of any word, any adjective. It's mind-boggling to me. And even if you hate both teams.
I thought this was something that, after the game and last week, I understood it. People were being irrational and saying things. Seriously, it's Thursday before Super Bowl. You're not going to watch some of the game. I'll tell you what, I'm less interested. I think
Well, that's fine.
There's a fatigue to this matchup for me. I just think it's kind of stale. I'm going to watch it, but I definitely going to watch it with like less intensity. I don't care if I miss a play. I'll go to the bathroom during a play. You know, unless it's real tight, super late in the game.
Right. I think people. I mean, your care factor of who wins obviously doesn't have to. You don't have to care who wins. It's just watching the game. It's watching the event, the spectacle that is the Super Bowl, and it's for a lot of people. It has become a yearly tradition. What are you going to do Super Bowl Sunday? People are talking about that halfway through the season, not even knowing or caring if their team is going to be in it. And we obviously have the hurt of losing in the NFC Championship game, but
yes,
you still have 2 weeks later, the Super Bowl is still going to happen whether you're in it or not.
Right.
And why not? You could care a little bit less, but still watch it.
Yeah, you're going to tell me there's people that I don't want to like pander, but if you're a person that like watched the Pro Bowl flag football and not watching the Super Bowl, I think you need to find a couch somewhere. And there are probably people who do. There are probably people there. You know what? I'll watch the Pro Bowl, the flag football, but I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. Because there's lions in that one.
I have never heard somebody say, "I'm going to watch the Pro Bowl flag football, but I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl."
I would hope not, but it wouldn't stun me how soft this has become.
Wojo and Rieger were talking about this last night, and at one point, like you could just tell with some of the callers that people were really, really hurt by this loss.
I get it,
and we all were and stuff. But it's like you gotta move on. It's
turn the page.
Okay to watch the game and just you like football, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But one caller called it therapy, like talking about this just in general that they can't. People are having a tough time really getting past it not being the Lions.
248-539-9797.
Hey, football fans, we're talking about the Super Bowl, and everybody wants to celebrate Super Bowl 58. At least most people do. And you can celebrate that action with a no-sweat same-game parlay on FanDuel. And when you bet Super Bowl 58 on FanDuel, one game can mean a lot of different things and a lot of different wins. America's #1 sportsbook has all your favorite bets like the money line and the spread, plus all sorts of prop bets. So if you're looking at who's going to score the first touchdown, how many rushing yards is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to get? You want to go down the list of players, and you could do all of that. And then you can also build your own same-game parlay, and you can get bonus bets back if your SGP doesn't win. So start building your own or just bet a popular SGP that's already made for you in America's #1 sportsbook. Just visit FanDuel.com/chance. And if you don't already have an account, and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as now in trouble. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
248-539-9797. We'll hear from Derek Lalone, head coach of the Red Wings, coming up around 9:35. We are asking, if you are not watching the Super Bowl, why? Because to me, believe me, I get the hurt. I get the disappointment. There are plays from that game that will live with you the rest of your life. I've gone through those games where, whether it's the Robert Horry shot, whether it's the Jamie Baker goal versus the Sharks against Chris Osgood. I've gone through stuff as a Philadelphia fan as well that you'll never get over. But I could never, no matter how hurt I would be, can imagine not watching the Super Bowl. To me, it's blasphemous if you're a sports fan, i.e. a football fan.
We were talking in the break. I think one of the things that really realizing here is the euphoria, the natural euphoria, I'll say it that way, that was going on in this city as this team went throughout the year, and they were they got back to playing good football at the end of the year, and the rallying behind Goff, and it was all just gone poof.
Well, so I asked that question before the game even happened. Were people ready for the result? And the result was one of two things. You beat the Niners and you're going to the Super Bowl. And we have no idea what that was going to feel like. Still have no idea what that euphoric feeling was going to be with. Or you lose that game and all of the excitement, the run, the 17-game season, the two, home playoff games, the victories, all of that excitement comes to an abrupt end.
But we never thought it would end like that.
Well, you never thought 17. It would end, period.
No,
you kind of feel like...
No, a lot of people thought the 49ers could win the game.
Yeah, but a lot of people felt like this was the year for the Lions. Like the destiny was on their side. They were just the team that was on a roll, was going to get to the Super Bowl. And who knows how it ends at that point. But nobody really thought about what happens if they lose that game.
I think people did think about that. I just don't think people thought about having a 17-point lead at halftime and losing the game. That's what I don't think anybody, had
I've never been a big believer in losing. I'd rather lose a close game. I've always felt that way. I never want to be blown out. This is a great case, though, for the blowout, because the only other time they got to this game in my life, they never really had a chance in that game.
Right. And so
it didn't hurt like this.
Okay, it didn't hurt, but the narrative is, at least in my mind, would be, well, you didn't belong. You got blown out. You didn't belong there. You earned the right to be there, but you didn't belong because you got blown out. Now all of a sudden you're in a game that goes right down to the end, and whether you blew a 17-point lead, you had one. You showed that you belonged. And to me, there's no argument. I would much rather be in a game that you lose and it's a nail biter, however it ends up happening, and it's going to hurt. There's no question it's going to hurt.
Part of that is because you play the game. That's why.
TJ said the opposite.
I know, which is weird. Marco,
he's a guard.
Marco, you're on 97 on the ticket.
They're weird.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I love your show. I've been listening to it for quite a while.
Thank you.
I am, I'm just as bitter as anyone else in Detroit over this loss. Went into isolation, didn't want to talk to anybody. But I resent a little bit that if I don't watch a Super Bowl, I'm not a football fan. I mean, I love football, and the Lions not being there, man, that hurts big time. But this year, this Super Bowl is vanilla. I mean, two teams. I can't think of two teams more vanilla than Kansas City and San Francisco. The commercials, they're so bland now. They're not even good. And who's even playing in the halftime show?
Usher.
But if I don't, if I don't watch it, then it's like I've been deemed a non-football fan.
But
only by Stoney.
But Marco, but you would rather watch a pedestrian Thursday night game on Amazon between the Steelers and the Patriots than watch the Super Bowl?
No, I love the Super Bowl.
Okay,
but
good.
Year's Super Bowl.
All right.
Year's Super Bowl.
All right.
So,
are you watching it though?
I'm undecided.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if I get called up, have some buddies want to watch it, I'd probably go see what's going on. But am I going to go out of my way to make plans for it? No.
Well, you don't have to go out of your way if you have a television.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying you have. Believe me, I'm not on this. You have to go to a party to watch it.
Right. Yeah. Our two Grand Slammers not buying a new TV. He had his chance. Even on Twitch, everybody is divided. Some are going to watch it because they've got squares. Others are going to watch it because of they just like football. Cyclonic Vortex says, I'm entirely out on the Super Bowl this year. No Super Bowl party, no squares, no betting. I am done with football until the draft arrives.
Okay, I don't understand it, but so be it. Damon, you're 97 won the ticket.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Good, great. Definitely watching the Super Bowl because I figure it like this. I need the 49ers to win so that let me know that there's only one team in the NFL that could beat us. And also, I think they're really, as you put, butthurt because they're bandwagon jumpers. You know, they jumped on the bandwagon. It didn't go the way they wanted. And boom, I'm a football fan. So I'm watching it. I have to watch it. And the last point is that we sacrificed those Pistons to beat, I forget who it was, but they lost the day that we advanced, and then they won the day that we lost, which was San Francisco. And that kind of hurt, too. Yeah. But, hey, I'm watching the game.
Good. I'm glad you're watching the game. The Piston analogy makes no sense to me. But Chris in Canton, you're 97 won the ticket.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
I will not be watching the game, and it doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with the fact that the Lions lost, which was obviously a bummer. It's like John had talked about the spectacle of game. That's why I don't plan on watching the game, because it's too much of a spectacle. It's like a circus. I don't want to watch a 4-minute national anthem. I don't care about a halftime show. And I don't want to see Taylor Swift. I don't want to see Taylor Swift every other play.
Well, you won't.
It's a football game.
She was on for 40 seconds during the AFC Championship game, if she even gets there. So you don't have to watch the national anthem. You can just get there when they kick off. You don't.
And as soon as you see Taylor Swift, close your eyes.
Yeah, and you can go. You can go take a dump at halftime if you want. If you don't want to watch Usher, I mean, I'm just talking about the football game. The spectacle, people have their own opinions on that. I probably won't watch every commercial.
Stoney, if it takes you 30 minutes for a dump, man, I think you should get that looked at.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Hey, reason to watch.
Unless you're just looking for a quiet spot.
If the Chiefs win, does Jim Nantz work in a Taylor Swift lyric in a Jim Nantz-like way? That would be fantastic.
They shook off their first loss of the season. They shook it off against the Lions. Dan in Detroit, you're on 97 on the ticket. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, great show this morning. Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you.
I was talking to your guy, your screener here. I haven't really heard this perspective, and I think that you guys, a lot of people in Detroit are going to agree with me on this. We want to root for the Chiefs. We do not want the Niners to win. If the 49ers win, that loss that the Lions took is going to go down in 49er history as so glorious, so epic, so amazing. Look at their run. Look at what the adversity. That's going to never die. If you want the hurt to sting a little bit less, you want to root for the Chiefs. You want this 49ers to have the fucking lead. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
This is emotional.
Yes.
That's
For those on hold or listening on the stream, you enjoyed that. For those listening on the radio, you didn't know what he said, which is a good thing. All right, we got one more. Kevin in Toledo, you're a 97 won the ticket.
You know, I'm going to watch this damn game. Once again, involving two teams where, you know, we live in Toledo. I'm a Lions fan, but really we're in between two NFL franchises. Neither one's been to the Super Bowl. I'm going to watch the damn game again. It's all about the stupid squares and everybody slobbering all over the two teams. And guys like, you know, I'm tired of it. It's like, I'm going to watch it because that's what you do. But for you guys to act like it's so preposterous for people to not want to watch it, I get it. I'm not going to go out of my way to not watch it if I want to watch it. I'm really soured on the whole thing, and it's one of these things where I'm gonna watch it, but I ain't gonna like it.
Well, Kevin, what's preposterous to me is people will watch somewhat meaningless regular season games that their team is not even in, but not watch the Super Bowl. To me, I can't wrap my arms around that at all.
Well, I think it's two different things, though, Stoney. I mean, especially for I'm just thinking about the local Lions fan. Yeah, they might watch the they're just a fan of the NFL. You put it on TV, they're going to watch it. But is it that ridiculous to realize that there's some people that are just sickened by it, that don't even want to be exposed to hearing about how good Purdy is, or how good the 49ers are, or slobbering over Mahomes. I mean, I can get it why somebody might want to go find something else to do.
All right. Thanks for the call, Kevin. Appreciate it. 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Coming up next, we'll talk to Red Wings coach Newsy Lalone. 97 won the ticket. I'm welling up here a little bit. Just wait till next week, I guess. I don't know. Hey, dive into the best pool in history to watch all great sporting events. And that great pool is Las Vegas. And it's more than one pool. They got 6 pools, 3 different levels. It's called Stadium Swim. Perfect view. They got a massive 40-foot tall high-def screen. Stadium Swim, America's favorite place to watch all your sports. They got swim-up bars, instant-ready selfie walls, and one nonstop football party. Don't forget, March Madness is coming up soon, and Mikey and Rico are going to be there. So score your perfect game day spot with the cozy day beds. Grab a lounge at the center of the action. It's 365 days of sports poolside, located at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street, which is also unbelievable. Fremont Street, downtown's great. Stadium Swim, all sports, all seasons. Book your spot today at circalasvegas.com. 248-539-9797. Carson Anderson coming up next. And don't forget, NBA trading deadline is at 3 o'clock. A lot of times the trades get announced after that because they have to do all the paperwork with the league and all that stuff. So follow it right here with Carson Anderson and Mike and Rico as well.
All right, so we began the show. People listening now usually aren't listening at 6 a.m. And I just kind of pointed out that the Pistons and Michigan basketball won on the same day.
Right, and I wondered when the last time that happened.
Yeah, and so they now have 15 total wins combined this year. And the Pistons have only won 11 games since last February 10th, which is tomorrow or Saturday.
Yes.
I didn't even
less than a win per month. All right, but
and to their defense though, they don't. There's a few months where they don't play.
Okay.
They play summer league. I don't know. We didn't count those.
No.
All right. So, anyways, Stoney did ask the question. I wonder when the last time the Pistons and Michigan basketball won on the same day.
And I think I said 2021.
So, are you going? That's what I was going to do. The stat of the day here. We're going to go around the room and ask, and then I'm going to reveal when it was. So, pick a day.
I'll pick a day. A Tuesday.
No.
December 9th.
Literal
throw a wrench into it.
How about
I'm going to go, let's go January 28, 2021.
Okay. We're doing a stat of the day in the form of a question.
February 7th, 2000.
Oh, my gosh. 24 years ago?
I know. I meant 2020. I'm sorry.
Wait. What date?
February 7th, 2020.
When is the last time?
It hadn't shut down yet.
Right.
Carson
I know.
Anderson, the last time Michigan basketball and the Pistons won on the same day.
Yeah.
I'll go December 17th, 2022.
March 4th, 2019.
All right. This was a trick question.
Great.
Believe it or not,
You can't say yesterday.
They did it on Martin Luther King Day this year.
Oh.
Did they really?
Oh,
They
that's
only
right.
have 15 combined wins. That's why we were kind of wondering to start the show this morning. You know,
Oh, that's right. The
like,
Pistons won in Washington and Michigan beat Ohio State at Chrysler.
Yeah.
I don't like that answer.
Yeah. All right.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew especially you wouldn't, Gator.
It's time for the
That was a
$2,000
DB
slam.
question, wasn't it?
Gator will definitely get more than our contestant who got 2 correct.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they struggled.
All right, here we go. Where did George Kittle play in college?
Iowa.
Who is the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers?
Mentor.
Who is the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I'm sorry, for the Niners. What am I doing here? God. For the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Is it Spags?
Who was the quarterback for the 49ers the last time they won the Super Bowl?
Quarterback for the Niners last time they won the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
It's Steve Young.
This band had the 2006 hit When You Were Young.
I don't know. No idea.
Jeffrey Dahmer was born in this state.
Hate this. Minnesota?
Damian Lillard currently plays for this team.
Dame plays for the Bucks?
He is currently the lead play-by-play voice for Monday Night Football on ESPN.
Killing me here. Levy. What am I doing?
He played Vinny and my cousin Vinny. Yeah, time's up. You got 4.
You doubled them up.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
You went from Bucks to
Joe Buck.
Joe
Joe
Buck.
Buck. Yeah.
So they were all tied together.
Yes.
So if you
Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator of the 49ers. You thought it meant we said Chargers. The Killers did the 2006 hit When You Were Young.
Don't know.
Speaking of killers, Jeffrey Dahmer was born in Wisconsin. Damian Lillard currently plays for, you got that, the Bucks. And the lead play-by-play voice for Monday Night Football is Joe Buck.
All right. And my cousin Vinny is Joe Pesci.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at least I beat the caller.
You beat the
You doubled them up.
Embarrassed myself the rest of the way.
That's okay.
Guess how the caller got the question at the end with my cousin Vinny. They answered it wrong. Who do you think he picked as the actor?
Robert De Niro. Denzel Washington.
He said Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
Well, similar in stature.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Both Italian.
Yes. That's exactly
Both
correct.
From, both are from New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys got going today?
Well, some interesting trade deadline scuttlebutt as it pertains to the Pistons. We've got the Wide 9 Omaha Blitz thingy at 10:30. Another edition of Are You Going to Eat That in the noon hour.
All right. Carson Anderson coming up next. Stick and stay in case there's any trades. They'll have it first. 97.1 The Ticket.
Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Carson Anderson here on 97.1 A Ticket. I hope you're all doing well. And hope you had a great Wednesday. Gator, how was your Wednesday evening?
I'm sorry.
What's wrong?
I had such a poor showing in the 2 Grand Slam. I'm sorry. I feel like it reflects on the show now. Like I've shamed the
hold
show.
on. In no way does it reflect on the show. This is
just
only
reflects
your embarrassment. This has nothing to do with me. Although I actually think this is one of those weird times that I actually might have done better than you. I'm not good at that trivia stuff.
I think you might have.
Yeah. But
Did you know Dahmer was from Wisconsin?
Yeah. Well, I would have guessed Wisconsin. I didn't know it, but I would have guessed.
Yeah, I knew it was Midwest.
But then the buck thing I would have got. The back-to-back bucks. Pair of bucks there. I would have got that. I would not have gotten the killer's question, but anyway, you have no need to apologize. Simply own it yourself. Let it wash over you and only you. How was your Wednesday?
It was fine. It was beautiful outside. Went for a walk with the dog.
Yeah.
So enjoyed that. Lois got to meet another dog on the travels, a new one.
How'd that go?
Rough to start.
Mm-hmm.
The other dog was a little aggressive, and there may have been a loud bark and maybe a sort of snap, but not really. And the guy who was walking the dog felt terrible. I'm like, no, it's okay. I said, let them go. They're not fighting. They're just establishing what the territory is, and we'll see how it goes. And then they were fine.
Yeah.
I think too often people freak out when they see a dog get all aggressive and snap. Depending on the dog, I guess. If you think it's totally out of character for the dog, just let it go. It's all right. And the guy said, "Oh, my dog's a sweetheart." Okay, well, here we go. But it was beautiful. Went for a nice walk and came home, started watching TV, and then realized there's really not a whole lot on. I flipped on the Michigan game for a little bit.
That's a quad one win for them.
Good for them.
They're in Lenardi's next 75 out.
That's how many games left they have?
They got some work to do.
So win number 8 for them. Good for them. Knocking off Scotty.
Wisconsin's lost 3 in a row. They blew a 17-point lead. No, maybe it was a 19-point lead at Nebraska. They lost to Purdue, as one would do. And then losing to Michigan. They're spiraling.
Yeah. At one point, they showed the graphic with the rankings of the Big Ten, the standings in the Big Ten. And it's just crazy to look at that and see what has happened. You know, like with Michigan and Ohio State are at the bottom of the Big Ten. And for a long time, those were 2 teams that were 2 of the top 4 teams in the Big Ten, you could say. And, you know, Maryland is in the bottom half of the Big Ten. Like, Maryland was a storied program before they got to the Big Ten. And just kind of weird to look at. And then even Michigan State standing there. Michigan State's not playing great. It's just kind of a weird season for the Big Ten. And kind of a weird season in college basketball, too. I feel like there isn't that one dominant team. Like, even if you think it's Purdue, you know it's not, because Purdue's never that team in the tournament.
I know.
Well, dude,
I picked them last year to win it all.
No way.
Believe it or not, I'm not a Purdue fan, but I picked them last year to win it all. I already got my team. I think I know who I want to see their draw. I think I know who I'm rolling with this year, and it's not Purdue.
But I've been guilty of going with Purdue in basketball to usually get into the Sweet 16. I'm usually that's one of those teams that gets there, and it's the team that breaks my heart every year because they just don't play well in the tournament. But it's just a weird year for college basketball. All these teams losing. When you think they're good, they take a big step back and lose to a team you wouldn't expect them to lose to. So interesting with that. And then the Pistons come on at 10 o'clock, and I watched the whole game. And that is not like me.
Yeah, look.
Particularly on a West Coast start. But they played compelling basketball. It was fun to watch. They were making their shots. They looked like a competent team. They didn't turn the ball over constantly like they have. I mean, they had their turnovers, but it wasn't terrible like we've seen in the past. They made every free throw they shot. And, oh, by the way, they're doing it without their top two scorers on the team. Cunningham and Bojanovic not playing.
When they got scratched, last night, and look, Bojan is widely considered a trade target from contenders. And when he got scratched, given his marketability with left calf soreness, I'm like, okay. And then I saw, wait, they also scratched Cade and Isaiah Stewart. Now, Stewart sat out a few games here with an ankle, but Cade was scratched for left knee injury management. And I'm like, no.
Well, he just came off the injured list. So.
No, I mean, no isn't. They're not